Beautiful and beautiful Aotearoa, that is to say, hello from beautiful New Zealand. I'm Career Break Guy taking a break from my corporate life tonight to continue with my solo September challenge. This time playing the new Dragons and Dungeons? Dungeons and Dragons starter box set that came out this week, or back in the day for anyone who's watching this video later. But because I don't just play Dungeons and Dragons, I'm going to play this using the Nimble 2 rules. Let's see how well we can translate everything on the fly. I've done this with a starter adventure with Nimble 2 before, so I'm feeling kind of good about it. Anyway, I've not read the box. We're going to read this together. Spoilers ahead. Let's kick off. Let me just switch the screen. Here we go. So, using alchemy because I just want the dice. Let's throw on an overland map. I have made a character. Let me show you him. Well, I've actually just used the basic hunter character that comes with Nimble 2. I've called him Al. He can call you Betty, you can call him Al. He's a human hunter, very average, 1d8 hit dice. Just kept him super basic because I just want to play the game, see what the adventure's like. So let's just get rid of that. Here is one of the maps, or part of one of the maps from the box set. I've got this on D&D Beyond as well, so I've just imported the map. Yeah, let's kick off. So, Al has wandered into the wilderness, and I'm going to go through and see, reading parts where it says to read them. Your adventuring party enters the wilderness. Mysteries await you in the untamed land. Where do you want to go? Well, Al's going to go into... He's heard that there's a keep. He's looking for work. He's a bit of an outdoorsman, hunter, which is the equivalent of a ranger. Yeah, so looking for work. Heard that if he goes to the keep, he'll be able to find something, start making a bit of coin for himself. Not just someone who wants to keep living out in the wilderness on his own as much. He, thinking about settling down a little bit. It's a pleasant day as he wanders towards a keep from... let's just say there is no little thing. But anyway, he's just carrying on down the road, and he's heading up north towards the keep. So let's see if there's some kind of thing that happens. Wilderness region. So he's on the trail. So we click on that. This is a dirt road that connects the keep of the Borderlands to the caves of chaos and the lands beyond. It's well lit, which is nice. And the terrain, 10-foot wide trail, mostly flat. So it's an easy enough trek, and he knows where he's going. So you travel along a well-kept trail east of the keep of the Borderlands. Gnarled tree roots and big rocks mark the edges of the 10-foot wide path. As he's going to carry on, what does it say? Here's some encounters that you can optionally do. If this is the first time you're running, do it in the order presented. So first thing is, a wagon stands on the trail ahead. The driver and horses are nowhere to be seen. Okie doke. So I think, Al is coming along. He was under the understanding this trail was pretty safe and clear. But now he sees this wagon up ahead, so he's just kind of pulled to one side into the woods and just assess the situation for a moment. He's going to listen out, see if there's still bird song, for instance, because if someone's around and they're messing around, then that might disturb the birds. So he's going to listen out for some bird song, look around, see if there's any bodies. Like, as it said, you couldn't see the horses or driver immediately, but he's going to keep having a look, and then he's going to approach carefully, try and discern what happened here. Then he will, he'll have a quick look for survivors or injured in the immediate area. He'll have a look at see if there's trails, and then he'll also have a look to see if there's anything inside the wagon. That's all assuming nothing goes wrong. So let me just bring up this box again. So there's a bit of info, but a character who inspects the wagon can make one of the following ability checks to learn more about it. He can make investigation, survival, perception. So he did want to figure out what was happening first. So I'm going to say that he's going to make an investigation check. But of course, you don't make an investigation check in Nimble, investigation counts under examination, which he's got a 0. So they say this is a DC 13. Maybe that's not the best idea. Perhaps his best thing is going to be survival, which is naturecraft. So let's make a naturecraft roll. Naturecraft of +6 because he gets bonuses for being a human, being a wild one, someone who lives out in the wild, and then it just had 4 to start with. So let's roll a D20. First roll of the game. He gets a 2 + 6 is not enough. So he looks and it's a bit of a jumble. He's really kind of turned around by the fact that this is even here. He wasn't expecting this. He doesn't immediately notice any. I mean, there's no survivors. He's not seeing any tracks. He can't really tell what's happened. There might be damage onto the wagon, but he can't really tell at this time whether it's new or old, or if it has anything to do with anything. Good start, buddy. Good start. Let's just close that down. You can see the map again. Get some wind effect going. Okay, so he just he sees this wagon, and inside he sees things like animal feed, bales of hay, sacks of freshly milled flour, and unfortunately, because he didn't really pass any of his checks, or his check, he doesn't really find anything else. So he's going to take that in for a moment, but then he's going to carry on down the path. He still wants to get through to this keep. And let's just say, as he carries on, a young woman, further on, still a lovely day, but further down the track, a young woman with a massive backpack and eager smile hikes towards him along the trail. They wave excitedly. "Oh, good day," she says. "I'm Malin. Might you be an adventurer?" An adventurer? I've got to change that. "I ask because I've been out here looking for adventure of my own, to no avail. After camping out here for days, I still don't have any tales worth telling, do you?" So this is a person dressed in fairly common clothes, got a big backpack upon her back, a walking stick. Doesn't look to be anything suspicious to Al. He introduces himself and explains that he has had some experience living out in the trails, but in the wild, but he's not necessarily an adventurer anymore. But he will regale a tale of like a really interesting, like the most interesting hunt he had. So let's roll a charisma. With his charisma, this is a influence roll, so +3. D20 +3. 17. All right, well that beats the suggested DC. So yeah, he recounts a story about one time that he was out hunting, and it was a stag that he saw, and just the way that the light caught it, and there was like a misty morning, and he just saw it in this clearing, and it was really majestic. And then the arrow, and how it he took it down in one shot, and then the horns, and just recounts this tale, and he goes into great detail. The smell and really evocative language. That moment that he stopped and was worried that he had overstepped too much and cracked on a twig and alerted it because he didn't see it at first. But Madeline seemed really interested in the story, and so she gives him a pouch she found along the trail, which contains 10 gold. Okay, we'll take that. 10 gold. Yeah, so sorry that his character sheet, like the writing is really small. I don't know why that is. It's just what happens with this sheet, apparently. So there's more things that can happen. There's more encounters. But you know what? I'm going to say that he continues traveling through and is otherwise uneventful as he passes through the hills and the up and over this trail, rising towards, eventually sees the peaks of this keep rising in the distance. And he carries on until he arrives at the keep, the opponent's keep. So I'm just going to switch over in D&D Beyond to find what happens in the keep. I should probably keep that tab open. Okay, keep. Rising from rugged crags amid a harsh countryside, the keep on the Borderlands is a bastion of peace amid an otherwise brutal wilderness. The keep's stalwart defenders protect the community from the forces of chaos that would revel in its fall. I'd always heard about the original Keep on the Borderlands adventure, and I thought it sounded really cool, and I wanted to buy it at some point and run it. And so when I heard that that's actually what was in this starter set, I was pretty excited. Don't believe the fact that it says 3 adventures, though. I'm hearing that it's actually, like, the caves are cool, but then everything else is, I mean, those couple of examples of random encounters on the wilderness were not necessarily an adventure book. One book's meant to be adventures, one's meant to be exploration, one's meant to be role-playing. So if that's, I assume, exploration, caves will be adventure. So this will be a role-playing opportunity. So you ascend a winding road through a forested and mountainous country. Ahead, atop a sheer walled stone plateau, looms a great and stoic keep. Armed sentries along the outer wall peer down at Owl, ready to welcome new heroes or repel would-be invaders. So he's not an invader. 2 armed guards stand at the front gate. They hail and motion to you to approach. So he's going to go up, and he's, got a short bow across his back, and I forget, does he actually have I think he's got a dagger in his belt. Where'd he go? Yep, dagger in his belt. So he's just got his hands out to either side, and he waves, shows that he's not armed, or at least armed but not posing a threat. So he starts outside the keep. When he arrives, proceed to the outer gatehouse, which functions as a tutorial. Okay, cool. So what does it say? 2 stone flowers flank an archway that leads into the keep. A sturdy-looking gatehouse spans the archway and connects the towers. A wooden drawbridge allows passage over a steep ditch surrounding the keep. The bridge is currently drawn shut. 2 guards stand before the raised bridge, and as Ale approaches, one of the guards shouts, "Hail! Do you bring peace or trouble?" So of course, Ale is just going to say, "Hey, look, I'm just here. I've heard that the keep is a place where one can find work, and I'm looking to find legitimate work here. I have some skill with a bow and tracking and outdoors skills, so I hope my services might be needed. In this keep in the middle of a forest." Let's find out a little bit about these characters. He doesn't know their names yet. Confirming the characters are well-meaning. Yep. Okay. So there's a bit more discussion. One of the 2 guards is a chap with short hair. Both of them are wearing the mail of the town guard, and they've got a crest, which is this little horsey head upon their shields. The other one is a woman, long hair, darker complexion. They both carry spears. After introducing himself as Al, the male says, I'm Bartho, and the female's like, "I'm Gala." Gala's got a much sterner look than Bartho. Bartho just seems to be phoning it in. But there's a bit of back and forth. Doesn't look like you need to roll anything. And Bartho and Gala call for the drawbridge to be lowered and welcome to the keep. But just before he goes, Al is going to ask, "Hey, look, do you know any work that's going or anything like that?" Surely, standing at the entrance to the keep, you'll speak to more people than a lot of others. And I'm going to see if there's... you know what, let's do a D2 for each of these 2 to see... we'll half this, round down. So this is Bartho, so he's going to say the second thing, and then Gala is going to say the second thing as well. So they tell him that Arthur's like, well, what I've come to realize is that minotaurs, well, they can't be real. So look, they're a myth that you use to scare children from wandering into caves. You know, because you think about it, you can't really have like the head of a bull on the body of a man. Surely it'll just kilt it over. And the feet, are the feet, is it the feet of a bull or the feet of a man? And if it's the feet of a bull, that's less surface area, that's really more built for forelegs, and it's not the hooves of a bull on their hands, they're bipedal, so surely it would have to be feet. You know, so it doesn't seem plausible. Gala, on the other hand, explains that Bartho's an idiot. But says, look, what I can tell you is that whilst you dream of finding legitimate work, my dream of legitimate work is not working with this fool. I wish to join one of the keep's cavalry. This crest on our shield actually represents them. There's about 30 riders, and yeah, one day I'd like to be one of those. And so I was going to take a opportunity to, you know, say, well, not the opportunity. I was going to thank them for taking the time to talk with them, and is going to carry on into the keep. So he's going over the drawbridge. It's a steep ditch, 10 foot wide, 10 foot deep, in front of this fortress, and it really does look like this is the only way in. There's a large gate, a stone arch behind the drawbridge with an iron portcullis and large oak doors, and these are open at the moment that he's able to cross. And once he gets inside, he can actually see towers, 30-foot tall towers connecting the ground floor to the roof. And he also sees arrow slits in the tower walls as he gets closer, and can see like little faces peering out. So it's pretty lucky that he didn't actually cause a ruckus. So did they say that he needed to go somewhere? I forget. No, I don't think they did. Okay, so he goes in. What does he find? Gets to the gatehouse. They've lowered the drawbridge. Okay, so the keep has plenty of need of hardy adventurers like you, Gallus said. If you want to make a name for yourself in this community and earn the Castellans' respect, you should visit locations within this keep and offer your aid. Residents usually pay you for a job well done, Bartho adds casually. So let's see what we can do. So I guess what is the first thing? They've gone in through this gatehouse, and now what are some of the other areas that they're seeing inside of here, starting in? What's this building to the side? To the barn. So I guess he comes in, and immediately sees this building here. Sees people milling around. Here's the sound of livestock, and as he gets closer, animals snuffle, cluck, oink, and moo inside the stalls of the spacious barn, which smells of leather and manure. A freckled halfling woman uses a pitchfork to unload hay from a nearby wagon into an empty stall. She wipes the sweat from her brow and extends a hearty greeting. And she says, "Oh, my name is Cornflower. I work here. You got a new face?" Yeah, Al introduces himself and says, "Yeah, I've just arrived. I literally just walked in. I'm looking for any work that might be going. I'm quite an outdoorsy chap. You know, I've got this bow. Perhaps I could be of some use to someone." Cornflower says, "Well, I mean, it's not necessarily a bowman's task, but if you're good with tracking, look, last night I accidentally left the goat pen open, and this morning all the goats were gone. I'm sure they're within the keep still, but I need to tend to the other animals here and make sure that no other ones get loose. Would you track down the missing goats and return them to the barn? Yeah, I'll pay you a gold for everyone you find. And you know what? You got to start somewhere. So, yeah, absolutely. I will say, yeah, you know what? I'll get on that. I've got to go into the rest of the keep anyway. I didn't see any on my way here, so I think you're right. They probably are still in here. I got to walk around anyway. I'll take a look for you. And old Cornflower thanks him kindly, and so he's going to go off. So see, the goats are scattered around. So it says roll d12 for each missing goat, re-rolling duplicates. The number of missing goats is equal to the number of player characters. So when she said left the goat pen unlocked, all the goats were gone. What she actually meant was this. She's like, when I said goats, all the goats. Well, there's only one goat. His name is Billy, but we're very fond of him. He's like, all right, well, I'll find Billy. So he's going to check for clues, prints, I guess. So we're going to get to roll his once again Naturecraft. D20 for that. Rolls a 11 plus, what was it? Plus 6 is for a 17. 17 is small enough. So he finds hoof prints in the dirt. And he tracks that through, let's say, it just kind of arcs around the back of the barn, down the street, and it had, he is actually hiding in this little patch of trees and shrubs behind whatever this building is. And Al is quite glad. That's actually remarkably easy. He brings back this goat to Cornflower. Cornflower's delighted. Oh, where was he? And I was like, oh, you just went around there and around the back. And she's like, oh, that was not that far at all. It's like, no, I'm quite fortunate, really. So, well, a deal's a deal. Here's your gold. So he gets another gold piece. And she explains that, look, there's people that need help inside of the keep. But alternatively, you could always travel out. There's trouble nearby. There's caves. There's issues that happen down there. And she says, one of the guards will be able to give you more details. And so, he's going to traipse back to those two guards that he met earlier, Gala and Bartho. Bartho. It's like, hey, and they're like, oh, you're leaving so soon. He goes, oh, well, I was looking for work and I found a job. Maybe it wasn't quite as glamorous as I'd hoped. But I heard that there was a set of caves or something like that might be work. And Bartho, I reckon, just whistles under his breath and says, oh, friend, you don't want to go there. That's trouble like here. You're not going to be interested in, not if you're just getting started out. Although, if you did, you'd be proper famous. Yeah, it's like you'd be proper dead. Is what you'd be, and is famous for being an idiot. But Al's going to point out, look, I feel like I need to make a name for myself, and finding goats is not going to do it. I think I need to do more, make an impact. Can you help me? And the two of them, like, okay, well, look, you can head. Do I have the map on the tactical mode? No. You can head north of here. Here's the full map, by the way. Oh, sorry, I didn't see that. Let's get rid of that for you. Here's the full map. So here's the keep. This is the road he came up. They say, so you head back down the road. The easiest way is to follow the trail north. No, east first and then north. And then when you've been gone for a while, you'll eventually come through to the caves. And at that, Al will thank them kindly. And they say, do you have enough supplies and whatnot? He's like, oh, that's a good point. So he goes and I'm going to say, spends gold on some food, make sure he's got some mortar, arrows, and he is going to head north or east and then north to the caves. And I'm just going to, is there maybe another wilderness random encounter? The wilderness. Open, link a new tab. Let's see. He carries on the trail. What's the third thing on the trail? Game trail. So, yeah, as he's heading east, just wondering, right? The weather's still well, but what he noticed is tracks of an elk, and he's like, "Ooh, that's interesting." I'm just, it seems to be going in the same direction as me, so I might just get a bit of practice, and I won't necessarily shoot it, because I'd have to carry it. And I'm trying to get somewhere, but I'll just have a wee look see. So he follows these trails until he eventually, near the trail, in a dense thicket, he spots this just regal-looking elk. Unfortunately, this is one of those occasions where he just takes a step too many. A twig snaps under his foot, and the elk, startled by his approach, lopes off into a thorny thicket. But then somewhere from the brambles, somewhere else in the brambles, he hears this husky voice cry out, "Blast!" So he's going to, like, he's got his, no, he doesn't have his bow, but he's just going to kind of put his hand towards his dagger. He's not entirely sure what this is, and he's going to turn around and see where that noise came from. So I guess it says you should take a roll of survival. So let's do a d20 plus 6 for his naturecraft, 16, which is enough for the DC of this. And he follows this narrow trail through the thorny thicket and manages, like, it plucks at his cloak and at his clothes and at his hair, but it doesn't actually scratch him or do much damage to himself. And eventually he gets to a hidden glen, which is on the other side of this little trail, and sees dozens of elk grazing in peace. But a voice just to the side of him is like, "Psst, get down!" And he looks, and there is a dwarf, large moustache, with a bow as well, and he's like, "Get down! They'll see you. Get." And Al kind of ducks down. He's like, "Who are you? What are you doing here?" And the dwarf introduced himself as Haldrick. He's like, "I'm actually the innkeeper down at the keep. I just what does he like doing? I'm just here. This is my favorite hunting spot. I don't recognize your face. So you're new to the area." So Al again introduces himself. Yeah. I've just went to the keep, met the guards, met Cornflower at the stables, but I'm actually looking for work. And Haldrick says, "Well, if I would ask you to, you can hunt here because obviously you've seen it, but it would be really great if we could keep this our little secret, because this is my favorite hunting spot, and as you had to get through the brambles. Most people don't find it. I tell you what, if you promise to keep it a secret, I'll pay you for it." And you know what? Being told that he can continue to hunt here, and all he has to do is keep this place secret, he's like, "Yeah, I can do that." And he gets 5 gold, and I've only added 5 instead of 5 to the 11 because, let's say, he spent 1 gold on supplies. And Haldrick, on the other hand, is also like, "Hey, but I tell you what, my inn is the best in the keep, so you should return my 5 gold through the medium of buying some drinks next time. The medium of buying some drinks next time you're there." And Al thanks him and says, "Yeah, I'm sure I will. I'm just going to do a wee trek out east first, and then I'll come back and I'll see you at the inn." Right, so say that. It carries on through And let's see what the Caves of Chaos are like. So you pass through a dense forest of gnarled trees with grasping roots and the woods twisting off as if to ward you away. Undeterred, Owl emerges from a tangled thicket into a stark ravine. Its rocky walls rise steeply 100 feet or so. Several dark cave mouths pockmark the walls at varying heights. The air is stale and quiet. Among the rocks and dead wood that litter the ravine's floors are bones of animals and explorers picked clean by scavengers. Vultures leer at you hungrily from barren branches. What do you want to do? And I'm just going to bring up this other map. This map is called Caves, which is not a spelling mistake, and I'm not surprised by it. It's actually a bit of an in-joke reference to my friends over at Fate of Eisen, who have a band called Caves. Anyway, so this is a joke for the people that knew, and everyone now knows. So this is what he sees. I imagine that he's down here. He's looking up and seeing all these various entrances. Which one to enter? So he's going to duck down somewhere. Duck down into the shrubs and look out and see what he can see about this area first. Let's see. So there's a bunch of different caves. Caves. What is a level 1 cave? Okay, so level 1 cave is this cave back here. So he's going to creep. He's going to try and get a better view. I think maybe he didn't see this one even. So he's going to come around and get it here. And this is cave B. So walls of mortared stone and cracked flagstone tiles form the interior of a cave, creating the impression of a subterranean fortress. Water trickles steadily somewhere inside. So he is going to move very carefully. He's going to draw his bow and just keep listening out as he keeps going in. So the cave ceiling, it's like 10 feet high or so he can fit in easy enough. The door to the area is... Oh, nope, not to that area. Cave walls are smooth, mortared stone with patches of unworked rock. And the cave is unlit. So he's going to have a light source. I'm going to say that he had a torch, which means he can't actually have his bow out. Unless he has a bow in one hand, his torch in the other. And he'll just need to drop the torch to pull out his arrow to fire if need be. So he's come in, and then I can't really show you the map, unfortunately, unless I very quickly... No, you can just theater of the mind it. As he comes into this cave, with his torch, you can see that the path splits. Arrow slits interrupt the wall at a junction, which splits to the left and the right. So he's carrying a light, which means that the slit actually begins to vent some steam. Okay, that's strange. He thinks, but he's looking left and right, and he will. I'm going to roll a dice. Odds he goes left, evens he goes right. Because I've seen the actual map, so. Okay, so he looks and he remembers that you always keep your hand on the right side of the wall when you're in somewhere you're not familiar with, because that way you'll eventually come out again to where you were. That's how you can solve a maze, by the way. Just keep your hand on the wall. So let's see. Where was I? Where's that map gone? All right, so he's gone into that area. So he sees 4 cold cells lining one wall of this chamber. Floor to ceiling iron bars partition the cells, which are unlocked, and there appears to be nothing in there. 2 of the cells contain unidentified skeletal remains and moth-eaten rags. But otherwise, looking inside this room, it's 20 by 20, 10 feet high. He peers through and he listens, and you can still hear that steam venting through the arrow slit from before. But can't see anything here. So he's going to go back the way he came and now go straight, which is effectively would have been left if he had done that earlier. Goes to this area. So water trickles into the spacious chamber from the north, forming a shallow pool. A small winged creature made of hissing steam zips above the water in pursuit of a tiny croaking frog. So he has got his torch out and his bow, and he's looking. This small winged creature, which is chasing a tiny frog, doesn't seem to be interested in him, and as such, he's just going to watch for a moment. Take a few steps back so he knows where the exit is. But otherwise, he's just going to watch. And when he sees that it's not interacting with him, he's just going to, the whole room spreads out in front of him. He's got this, the flowing water coming in from further in and to the right. But the room itself also curves immediately to the right next to him. As soon as he comes in, there's a door to the right, or a corridor to the right. Corridor directly opposite as well. And then it looks like a corridor. This water is coming down a corridor to the right. So the way he came, immediately to his right, forward and to the right, and then straight ahead. And he's just going to kind of put his back to the wall to his right and sneak around, watching this little frog chasing steam thing, and then go around this corner, kind of doubling back the way he came. And as he does, so the corridor continues down 10, 20, 30, 50 feet plus, and steam fills a stone alcove, which, as he gets closer, actually looks out over that slit. So he's like, oh, actually the steam was coming from in here when he was on the other side. So he gets closer. He sees another one of these steam creatures. And this one, though, begins to whistle like a tea kettle. And he's going to, kind of keep his distance. It's off to the right side of this wall. He's going to stay to the left and just kind of inch around it. And it's sitting there and whistling at him. It's got a little mischievous smile on its face. Kind of looks like a goblin, but, slightly made of gas. And then, of course, wings. So he's just going to try and sneak past it into the next room. And apparently it is also not overly fussed with him. It says it's indifferent. So he carries on passing, just shuffles around, keeps his back to the wall, kind of nods, and keeps whistling. And he carries on and he finds another empty room, another dead-end room. And this one's cobweb weapon racks and rusty suits of armor lie scattered all around this what was an armory. But he, just casting the torch around the room, can immediately see that there is nothing salvageable here. So he's just going to go back the way he came. I guess we're going to have to go... if he keeps his back to the wall, he can get past a little hissing steam creature. And then he's going to go... it's a much larger room. It's about 30 foot by 3, 6, 9, 10, 50 feet. So 30 by 50 foot room. A large portion of it has water spilling over it, which is where the frog and the steam creature is. So he's going to skirt around the left wall where there's no water. Keeping his distance, trying not to interrupt this creature, which is otherwise not being untowards about him. until he gets to the door or entranceway, which would have otherwise been opposite where he came in originally. And he can just make out that this room opens up into quite a large room. And as he goes in, with his torch, you can see ruined cots are heaped near the corners of this chamber, which features a natural ceiling. But then he sees two slimy humanoids with fish-like heads who use spears to carve strange symbols on the cave walls. These creatures are hostile. And so we will begin combat. Sorry. Now we're going to do combat in Nimble. So we get to roll initiative. I get to roll initiative, which is D20. I will add that to my initiative of 3. Oh, 23. Man, that's super useful. So with initiative and Nimble, if you get a single digit, you get 1 action. If you get up to 20, you get 2 actions. If you get 20 or higher, you get 3 actions. Normally in Nimble for combat, if you haven't played it or watched my previous video, you get 3 actions. It might be move, attack, and something else. And then at the end of your turn, that resets. And then if you want to do things like reactions, like defending against hits, that will take one of your actions for your next turn. So it's cool that he gets 3. It means he can move, shoot, or shoot twice, which means he does it at disadvantage. And again, one of the cool things about Nimble is, like Ken, you don't roll to hit, you just roll damage. And if you roll a 1, effectively doesn't hit. So he has a bow. His bow does 1d6 plus 2. So he sees this thing and he drops the torch, because these things just spin around with him, make a yell, they show absolute hostility, and get the spears ready. So he's like, drops the torch, pulls out an arrow, knocks it, and aims at the one on the left. So let's roll a 1d6. We'll add 2 to it. No, so 1. He misses. And, I guess with dropping the torch and trying to knock his arrow, and this is, these things are in close proximity to him. There may be 20 feet away. That first arrow doesn't go. So what he'll do is he will take a second attack at disadvantage this time. So I roll 2d6 and I'll take the lower of the 2. Oh, also, what is his skill again? His skill is Hunter's Mark. You can mark a creature as my quarry. Can't be hidden from you. Attacks gain advantage or plus level damage. Okay, so what he's going to do, he's got 2 more actions. First one is he's going to mark the creature on the left. Like he's steadying himself. Like that first one was a rush shot and he knew that was stupid. So he takes that moment to breathe, focus, draws his bow again. He's going to fire with advantage, which will negate his disadvantage. And let's see how he does this time. So 1d6 plus 2. 3. So 5 damage to this Kuatoa. Do they have stats for them? Surely they have stats for the Kuatoa. Alright, they have AC of 12. So let me just double check. There's a way that you can convert this. AC of 12 means they have no armor, which is great. Hit points stay the same. And I just said that it has 22 hit points. Oh, dude, he's gonna die. So let me just get a bit of paper. So 22. Another one has got 22. First one took 5 damage, didn't we say? So he's down to 17. Oh, that's awful. But at least now he's got that first hit in. The creatures are now going to rush at him. And I'm going to say that these flunkies, So I'm not going to let them crit. And I will get them both to attack at the same time. So the Kuatua, they will do... What damage have they got? They've got... Does it say what damage they do? Perception, dark vision, languages... Mod save... I feel like it doesn't actually say what... Interesting, okay. So they've got a spear. Let's find a spear, I guess. Have we got one in the core rules of this other game? Spear, 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 spear. Spear, spear, spear. 1d10 plus strength. Oof. That's gonna need to get buffed out. Strength is +2. So that'll do 2d10 plus 4. He's not going to make it. 2d10 plus 4. As these Kuatua stab at him with their daggers for a total of 11 damage. What he is going to do is he's going to use one of his 3 actions from the next turn to defend. When you defend, you take away the value of your defense or your armor. In this case, his armor is 5. So 11 minus 5 is 6. He takes 6 points of damage, goes down to 7. Ugh, that's really awful. Okay, he is going to start running. He's got 2 actions left. So first of all, he's going to run and he's going to fire his arrow back at the one on the left again. So this time he's got advantage or he can do additional damage. I'm just going to roll it normally, but I'm going to do... what does it say there? I get to plus level damage. That means I'd only do +1. You know what? Let's roll it with advantage. As he flees. Oh, excellent. So one of the dice I rolled was a 6. If you roll max damage in Nimble, and you're not a flunky, you get to re-roll that dice to try and do additional damage. It's a critical hit. So we'll do another d6. So 6 plus 5 is 11, plus 2 for his normal damage. I think I said it was. Yes, plus 2, so 13 damage. So that Kuatua goes down to 4, and it slumps to 1 knee. Let's just roll some kind of save. Let's say a wisdom save for the second one. No, crit. So what happens is he's starts running. These things came up and they just stabbed him. He's like, I didn't manage to dodge it completely. Got stabbed, but it kind of came off his crude leathers. And he just starts taking off down this tunnel. He's still got the torch at the feet of these creatures. He's got his bow, so he runs partway, spins, fires an arrow, and this time finds its mark. Nails one of these creatures in the leg. It goes down. The other one realizes that, hold on, I thought we had the advantage. There's 2 versus 1, but now that advantage is not so much. So it actually will duck out of the way, and Wee Owl is going to run past the Mephit, which begins just to spill steam everywhere as it laughs to see these Kuatua attacking him and him running for his life. The other little tea kettle one is also whistling away as he runs out, and he is going to run out of the cave. And I'm going to say that he will run all the way back home to the keep, where he will have a stiff drink at that. He will find the inn run by, was his name Haldvar? Haldrick. He finds Haldrick. And Haldrick's like, I didn't expect to see you again so soon. How did it go? And I was like, it didn't go great. And of course, like he's got this giant tear and bruising from where he got stabbed. And Holdrick's like, oh, this first one's on me then. Slides across a beer. And I'm going to leave it there. But, okay, so what do I think of it? One, Nimble is still a great system. The fact that you can translate on the fly and not having to roll to attack, I like. Keep on the Borderlands. I think I want to run this for some friends. I've got some friends who have just started getting into D&D, so this feels like the perfect kind of thing to run for them. So I'll actually read it. I'll get more of an idea. I'll build up some of these characters, and I'm really interested to see how they go. I think this would also be fun. I like the idea that they have a lot more. It's not a set story. They can pick which caves they want to do and go through, and not as railroady as some other starter adventures. But this is session 4 of my September solo challenge. I'll do one more this month, and then October I've decided that I'm going to start on the One Ring playthrough of Tales from the Lone Land. So I'm excited for that. I'll try and do that in podcast form as well. But otherwise, I've got a whole bunch of really great games that I want to start playing. I've got Coriolis, The Great Dark has come in. Tales from Argoza. I was looking at getting another one from Black Oath, the people that do Kernathalis, because that's great. Also, I want to do Kernathalis on here. Alien Evolution is coming through. There's just a lot of great games up, which is not helping my backlog. And also now I have joined the good people at Getting Dicey, who play on a Monday here in Aotearoa. But of course it streams online on Twitch, so you can watch it anywhere. I will link that in the channel, or in the description. But in the meantime, thank you so much for joining me. I always recommend Nimble. If you're getting into Dungeons and Dragons, so far, just a short playthrough, I think this starter set has something you can work with. But whatever it is, don't forget to look after yourself. Take care, and I will see you next time.